Good morning. I'm Meteorologist Lisa Green here on this Friday. Hopefully, you are having a great last day of the work week. It's been a wild ride for us here in the Valley, going from 80 on Monday to now temperatures in the 30s and 40s to start our mornings, and highs today only in the 50s to about 60. So we'll talk more about that coming up. But this week also coincided with back to school for a lot of students. I know a lot of Minnesota students headed back. So I was doing a little series this week called Learning with Lisa to kind of celebrate back to school and getting back to learning. And of course, the weather kind of coincided with this perfectly because we've had this turn to fall. So we've been talking about topics that are related to fall all week long. Monday, meteorological and astronomical fall, the difference between the two. We went over that, how frost and fog are more prevalent this time of year, and we've already experienced in some areas, it's been patchy, but we've already experienced our first frost with more on the way. And that's a little hint to our first alert weather day coming up here. Daylight trends, of course, trending down as we are heading toward the fall equinox and the winter solstice. Yesterday we talked about when our average first snow happens to be, and yes, we have had snow in September before in Fargo. Not often. It's more likely not than we would see it, but it's still a possibility. And then today our big topic is the science of fall colors. And you may have noticed that we're starting to see a little hint of color here and there as we've been heading through the late summer days here and heading into fall. So let's talk about the science of fall color. So of course we know we've got green leaves in the summertime. And so once we get into these months where we're losing daylight and cooler weather, the trees, the chlorophyll, that is the chemical in the plant that makes the plant green, the leaves green, and other obviously plants green, that starts to break down. And that's what's responsible for giving the tree energy. It turns the sun's energy and light into energy for the tree. And so as it starts to lose sunlight, it starts to break down because it's no longer able to do the work that it usually does during the summertime. So when that happens, when chlorophyll breaks down, other chemicals, the colors of them take over, and that causes the leaf to change. So for example, as we take a look at some of the chemicals in certain trees, green, the color is responsible, or chlorophyll is responsible for that color. Now I'm going to try to pronounce these terms, these chemicals, so bear with me here. Yellow, that color is associated with the chemical xanthophyll, and orange, carotene. You probably heard about carotene with carrots and beta carotene that is good for your eyesight, that sort of thing. And then red is called anthocyanin. That's the one I had trouble with, anthocyanin. And we see that often with, red maple trees once the green goes away. So those chemicals start to, or the colors associated with those chemicals show because they are still there within the leaves while the chlorophyll is breaking down. So that's how we end up with those fall colors. Those bright colors are more likely when we have a drier summer. Or excuse me, when we have a drier late summer, and when we have some autumn days that are sunny and some cool nights. So let's talk about our summer. It was above average for precipitation for a lot of places, especially in the Southern Valley. And so we've got some wet soils. And it's interesting. It's basically the extremes that affect how vibrant our colors are and how long our leaves stay on the tree and when the changeover happens. So it can be any number of things that can affect it. But certainly when you have a very wet soil or even a very dry soil, that can affect the changeover in your colors and can make them less vibrant, especially when it's very dry out. So that's something to keep in mind. We have had a wet summer. Late summer, we've not been as active, but we still have had some rain into late summer. And so what we're looking for here is some sunny days and some cool nights. Not necessarily a hard freeze because that might be too extreme. It might put too much stress on the trees and it may drop the leaves. So it has to be just right to have that really vibrant fall. And so you may have noticed over the years that some falls are more vibrant than others. Sometimes the leaves change over a little sooner than others. And it all depends, again, overall on losing daylight, which is steady every year. But also there are some impacts that the weather plays on that, again, including temperature and including soil moisture and what we end up seeing as far as sunshine during the fall months, because that really does have an impact. So this is something we'll be watching as we head into the fall season here. So let's talk about when our typical leaf turnover is here in the valley and beyond. As we head into, here's our dates here. As we head into, today's the 5th, so tomorrow, September 6th, you can see we're already starting to see some color changeover. This is, again, a typical average map here. And the lightest yellow color on the map is minimal change. And that's what we really have seen recently. But we are going to be starting to get into more patchy areas of a fall color, and eventually more, partial color where we've got a mix going on. And that's heading into September 13th. Again, this isn't the forecast, this is the average. So you can even see here as we start to get into this bright red into mid-September, places along the boundary waters are more likely to get into that near peak. And I would even say up along the North Dakota state line too, up in the Pembina Gorge area, getting into late September, we start to peak or see colors really start to change over at that point. And so moving on into the September 27th time frame, this deeper red, that's when we're starting to get past peak, and we're starting to, in the valley, in the heart of the valley, see more peak color. So average is late September, heading into early October, that we really start to peak out here in the valley as far as fall color is concerned. So, schedule your fall peeping outings accordingly. As the month goes on, it gets better and better. In October, it can be interesting. Sometimes if those leaves fall off the tree soon, that ends the season abruptly. Sometimes we can hold on to it a little bit longer here into October. So we get past peak heading into October 18th there. You can see a lot of places are past peak. Again, this is not the exact forecast. This is just what is typical in the fall months. So as you're out doing your leaf peeping, we want to ask you to keep an eye out for just some beautiful trees. We'd love to see your pictures here. We'll talk about that coming up. But the latest map I have from the Minnesota DNR here, we'll pull this up full screen. Excuse me here. We're looking at just a little hint of color. Basically, most areas have had no change. And that is where we have seen minimal change is up in that northwestern part of Minnesota. So you can see Kitson County included in that, parts of Marshall County, western Roseau, the Pennington and Red Lake County areas too. I'm just going on their website to make sure I'm not missing today's update, because this is from September 4th, and I'm not seeing an update just yet from the Minnesota DNR for today. So this is the latest one we have, and we really haven't seen much change going on with this latest round, but it is starting to show signs. So again, I just want to mention that we'd love to see your fall pictures. These are some from years past, and we like to share them. It's great to see what people are experiencing, and those vibrant colors are always great to see. And even those, just early hints, early signs of changeover happening, always great as well. So we want to talk about how you can do that. You can upload your photos right to our VNL weather app, go to the home screen, and then right at the bottom right, there's a submit button. Click on that. That brings you to the weather pictures page. And then under weather pictures, there's an add media option right here. And that's all you have to do is click on that. That opens up a window for you to just drop your photo right in there. And this is the same view on our website too. So if you have it on your desktop, you can go to our website and upload it through there too. You don't have to just have the VNL weather app. So we really appreciate your photos. This photo is from last year as well. Just beautiful, vibrant orange colors. And they're just great to share and enjoy with everyone. So as the season goes on, we appreciate seeing those photos from you. Let's take a look outside and take a look at where we might be seeing some fall color. Notice how, one thing I will note is that we do have some clouds overhead, so there's some shadows from the clouds, but there are some trees that are starting to lighten up, a little more yellow here on our sky cam on this tree across I-94 from us here in South Fargo. I've seen little patches here and there on some trees as well. Looks like we've got little patch right there as well. So again, starting to see hints of change coming up here in the forecast. And let's talk about if we've got some cool nights and some sunny days ahead. Right now, you can see behind me, we've got a sunny day going on. And we are looking at a day today that is going to be variable when it comes to cloud cover, when it comes to sunshine too. So let's take a look at our planner for Fargo. as we've got our autumn graphics going here for you. Let's take a look. So for today, right now we are at 48 degrees. We've got that sunshine in Fargo. For this afternoon, getting to about 60 today. For Fargo, I think a lot of places probably stay in the 50s. There's going to be some wind. We'll go over that too. And then tonight, heading into football time, it is going to be a bit cool, a bit breezy, though the wind will start coming down. And I can't rule out an isolated shower chance. So that's what we're going to go over here quickly to kind of recap how our forecast is shaping up. But again, there are a lot of places enjoying some sunshine right now. Let's take a look at our radar and satellite. You can see that areas in Fargo, up toward Devil's Lake, northeastern North Dakota, parts of Lakes Country, see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. More clouds to the northeast. We got a few more clouds southwest. And anywhere where we have clouds, I can't rule out a shower. It'd be very light. It'd be more of a nuisance kind of shower moving through. It's not going to ruin your plans, but it is going to make for, unpleasant conditions, especially when we factor in the wind along with that and our cool temperatures. So right now our temperature's gone up. We're now at 52 degrees in Fargo, looking at 51 in Grand Forks, and it is 50 in Devil's Lake. It's 47 in Park Rapids. So we're making a nice little recovery here. This morning we did not have much in the way of temperatures dipping into the 30s. We stayed mainly in the 40s thanks to some clouds and some wind keeping our temperatures up. There were a couple of pockets. I know Oaks got down to 39, so there were a couple of pockets that got into the upper 30s, but it wasn't as frigid as it was the previous morning. So that's good news for our tomato plants if they made it through the first round not last night, the night before. Looking at our wind, again, it is breezy. It's windy out there. We've got wind out of the north or northwest, some gusts getting into the 20s and 30s. Right now, it looks like our peak gust in the valley is 33 miles per hour in Langdon. And we are going to continue to just have this cooler air driving in with the wind. So it just keeps those temperatures down. It keeps reinforcing that cooler condition that we're going to be experiencing here in the course of the next couple of days. The wind does ease up the farther west you go, north and west. And so once this wind field moves on, it's looking a little bit easier heading into tonight. But here's a look at our wind gust forecast for our sustained or steady wind. We're looking at about 20 miles per hour through the evening drive time tonight. Gusts 20s to some low 30s. But once we get into the late evening, it does start to come down, so that's good news for anybody sitting in the stands out at a football game. But it's going to take a minute. At 7 p.m., we're still getting some gusts into the 20s at that point. So it is going to feel a little bit chilly with that going on. Let's take a look at our hour-by-hour planner for today. So again, we've got areas of clearing, we've got areas with clouds. It's going to vary from time to time. You can see by this afternoon it might even be a little more cloudy for more places. And we're watching for these little pockets of isolated showers this afternoon, heading into this evening. And I know we've got a lot of events going on. We've got two different parades happening in downtown Fargo-Moorhead this afternoon and tonight. We've got the Clydesdale parade going downtown Fargo. It's Greater Moorhead Days on the Moorhead side tonight. So if you're going to be out, have an option to maybe duck in and get dry if you have one of these showers passing by. An umbrella. I'm not expecting thunderstorms, so an umbrella is fine. It might be a little windy, so you'll need a stronger umbrella. And just be ready maybe with just a raincoat and a hood with it. Just in case one of these showers pass by. Bean Day is also in Horace the next couple of days too, so I know we've got events going on with that tonight too. Heading on into tomorrow morning, still seeing kind of similar situation. We've got clouds, we've got a couple of rain showers, so that will actually help us from dropping too much temperature-wise. We'll still be in our cold air mass, but clouds help to insulate, help to blanket us a little bit and trap in the Earth's radiation overnight so we don't drop as much temperature-wise. The wind also can act as kind of keeping the atmosphere moving and from cooling. The wind won't help us a whole lot. That's going to ease up overnight, but if we have enough cloud cover around, that should help things out. And I can't rule out, again, any night through Sunday, the possibility for some patchy frost. So just keep that in mind if you're concerned. So let's talk about Friday night football here tonight. Call on the field. I'm calling cold interference. Now, I know we have much colder nights ahead of us for football, but we're not quite ready for this just yet. You can see we were looking at temperatures around kickoff into the 50s. And then by the time we get into the nighttime hours, as the game is ending, especially in the north where we'll be cooler, we may see some temperatures dipping into the 40s at that point. So layer up. And again, an isolated shower is possible, so want to make sure you're ready for, a passing shower just in case for tonight. So, looking to be interesting for being out. You got to dress properly for this. But again, I wouldn't necessarily cancel your plans. And we know, cool weather, chilly weather, that feels like football weather, right? So that's for tonight. Let's look ahead for the weekend. So Saturday morning, we're going to start things off again with some clouds and some showers early on. I'm going to kick off at 9 a.m. here. And as we go through time Saturday, there's just that potential for more of these passing clouds. So more of the same, similar to today. I can't rule out a passing shower as well on Saturday, moving through the valley. And the farther north and east you are, the more likely you're going to experience that. This is 6 p.m. Now look what happens as we head into Saturday night and overnight and into Sunday. We clear out. That colder air starts to move on, but it doesn't move out completely. And we clear out. The wind will be very light. And that's going to be a problem for frost on Sunday morning. Temperatures are really going to dip. And so that's what I'm more concerned about as far as our frosty days ahead for Sunday. So let's talk about some of our weekend events. We've got Potato Bowl going on up at UND, and the French fry feed, that was postponed because of yesterday's weather, postponed to tomorrow during tailgating between 2 and I think 4:30 is when it officially ends. So just taking a look at our forecast for that time frame in Grand Forks. 50s to around 60 degrees, not bad. Keep in mind there might be a little bit of a breeze and mostly cloudy skies with that possibility for a raindrop or two for the day on Saturday. So anything you're doing Saturday, whether you're heading out to, again, Bean Days in Horace or maybe going out to take in, the early signs of fall color. I know there's a big hiking event along the Red here this weekend as well. Just keep in mind that we are looking out for the potential for a shower or two, and it is going to be cooler than average this weekend. A reminder, average highs in the mid to upper 70s, and we won't be anywhere near that on Saturday especially. So if you, are thinking today is great, you're going to like tomorrow. If you don't love the weather today, just know tomorrow's going to be similar, and you'll want to be prepared for that if you're going to be outside. Now, we do have, again, our first alert weather day for Sunday morning. Widespread frost potential around the valley. Let's take a look at our temperatures. I've lowered our morning forecast temperature on Sunday to 36. So at that number, that's when we could see frost. Yesterday morning, we were down to 37 at the airport. The end-on sensor at NDSU was down to 36. So we've been in this range already this week, but again, still in that frost range, starting around 36 degrees. And you can see a lot of places in the valley at 7 a.m. on Sunday in the mid to some upper 30s. So again, potential for widespread frost with those clear skies and temperatures that are going to be on that chillier side. So be ready for that for your morning lows. We are also talking about a big event happening here. We'll step over so we can see the temperatures. The Run to Remember 5K, this is to memorialize the 9/11, and this is put on by the student veterans in Fargo-Moorhead. So a big event that raises money for a good cause here on Sunday morning. It is going to be chilly, so I just want to give you that heads up for runners that, want to dress accordingly for it. I know we like cooler weather to run in, but this might be a little bit chilly. It might be a little frosty on some of those areas that you're running on Sunday morning. After the race is over, we're going to be clear, so that sun is going to be nice and bright, and it'll help to start warming us up pretty quickly. So after the race is over, heading out for breakfast, heading out to church, looking at conditions that shouldn't be too bad. It'll get better pretty quickly, and the day will turn into a pretty nice day compared to our recent days coming up for Sunday. But keep in mind, if you're a spectator especially, and you're not running and working up a sweat, it's going to be cold out there coming up for that Run to Remember 5K. And that's in Fargo at NDSU if you are interested in taking part in that. So let's move on into our forecast heading into the weekend overall. So again, Saturday, similar to today, we'll be seeing some more variable cloudiness, a few spotty showers possible. Might be a little breezy still on Saturday. Sunday we clear out. It's a nice sunny day. It's just going to be chilly in the morning with that potential for widespread frost. And so our first alert weather day isn't for the entire day. It's just for the morning hours. So if you've got some plants that you are still trying to keep alive, because next week, we'll show you that in a second, next week is going to be pretty nice. If you can keep them alive, you'll get another week of growing here into next week at least. So make sure you're covering your tomato plants, bringing in any plants you're concerned about Saturday night. Once we clear the frost, we'll be getting into temperatures into some mid-60s this weekend, and then moving up here as we head into the rest of the forecast. So little by little, we see those temperatures come up, and into next week, mid to upper 70s. I mentioned Monday we got to 80. We'll be very close on Tuesday. So working our way back to temperatures we're used to for this time of year. Or maybe you're getting used to these colder numbers. It's been a nice, if you love fall, a nice introduction to fall for folks. But we're not quite done with summer weather just yet with these numbers that are coming up for next week. So again, lots of things going on this weekend outdoors. So it's good to be prepared for the potential for some chillier temperatures. You know, layers are going to be your friend heading into this weekend. And in addition, there is that slight chance for a shower passing by today and again on Saturday that might impact you, with some wind too. That's going to even take a bite out of what our temperatures are at. Sunday, that's when things turn around. I think Sunday again will turn out to be a nice day once we get through the frost in the morning hours. So some pleasant conditions ahead for next week, and you know, some things to look forward to here as well. So I hope that whatever your plans are this weekend, that you have a fun, safe weekend, and you know, we'll be back to some summertime temperatures once we get back to you on Monday as we check back in Monday morning with our forecast updates. So in the meantime, you can always go to valleynewslive.com to check on the latest weather. We'll have Summer and Joseph later today, keeping you up to date on what's happening into the weekend. And in addition to that, if you get some great photos from the events you're at, weather, wildlife, anything you're doing, we always love to see those, including those fall color pictures that you can upload right through our VNL weather app or on our website and our news app as well. You can upload your photos there. So hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk again on Monday.